Satnam.
Satnam, hello everybody.
So we are in India. We have been here in south of India for an Ayurvedic treatment already since the 31st of December. And we realize today is the 11th of January, so it's about, numerologically speaking, about the last day that we can do sort of a video and a chat among ourselves that we hope you benefit from about this coming year that just started, 2025. So as usual, since the number have always a lot to say, we will avoid general concept and go more for what is resonating with us now. So in order to make this teaching really alive and useful. So there are so many things that to say that, of course, some will resonate maybe with you, some not, and we hope it will be helpful for everybody to start also meditating on what can we do this year in order to integrate his energy and to go with his flow and what it is in a smoother way than when we just accept it unconsciously and go with another flow, which is more chaotic. So this year is 2, 2, 5, so it's 9 altogether. It's a year 9. We could just immediately say, oh, 9, it's an integration, it's silence. We collect the information of what happens. If we look at the numerological cycle, 9 is also already beyond life, so including life and death, and including everything, and coming to ourselves and having also the patience and the wisdom to look at all details and let them settle and integrate. But it's not the whole story, because this 9 is made up from 2 2s and the 2 5 at the end, so which makes a 7. So we're going to speak a little bit about the energy, the hidden energy behind this 9 that could be silence, integration, patience, and so more peace. But actually we need to do some work before reaching that peace, because the intermediary number, the 7 and the 5, ask still our action in order to be able to reach that state of peace. And for me, the thing that came this morning was also about the 2. We have been already, is the 5th year, 6th year, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25. So it's the 6th year that we are dealing, and this, it started in the 2020. We are dealing with this double 2. And I remember just this morning, I remember how 2020 was the year of the COVID, is where all this work on union and separation started, at least for me in my experience. And all these years have been about that, about how do I remain connected but yet accept the separation. And this year, I feel it's about that also. So that's the first things that struck me. So I started at the beginning of the digit with the 2 and 2, and then we will move on. But for me, there is a lot of that. And this separation that I felt also very strongly last year, being a year 8, so also karmic. And the idea that I had was this tree with fruit that now are ripe, and like the 8, so this karmic year, like the conclusion of what happened, things comes to the knot, or things comes to the bottom line, and we are obliged to see them. This is what I mean with karmic. And some of them were striking, shocking, or painful. Some were about separation. And this year we are beyond that. It's like if the fruit fall down from the tree, and they are on the floor. So now what do we do with them? Do we eat them? Do we throw them? We let them rotten? Or do we clean the field? What do we do with all that? So Yeah, that's the answer. I don't yet have the question. I don't yet have the answer. But I just had this image of this here being that here where I have to decide what to do with this fruit and what I can eat, what is still eatable, what needs to be thrown away, what I can recycle, and how I can honor this process.
Yeah, somehow the 9 give us a higher perspective, so it's giving us the capacity to see the full picture. You could imagine being in the valley, you know, going through the street and visiting a place in the valley, and suddenly you go in the higher up in the mountain and you see the valley with all the different elements and how they communicate with each other. So this year is an opportunity for us to maybe stay in the tree and look at the fruit or to look at ourselves and to realize that we are a constellation made of different parts, and that they communicate between each other, and that we don't have to neglect some parts because we judge them, because they are not necessarily comfortable, because they are connected to unpleasant memories. So this year it's also a year to make peace by creating communication with the part of ourselves that we might have the tendency to neglect or to live in the shadow. And this is also very connected to the number 7, 2 plus 5, so the 7, which is the aura, the electromagnetic field that filter the reality according to our belief, our opinions, our judgments, our past experience, and digested memories. So this year is a year to accept without judging the inner experience, and to realize that whatever is the inner experience, it's a resource. But the moment we create a distance with it by judging it, thinking it's not acceptable, or whatever, we create a tension and a discontinuity. So it's an opportunity to make peace with the part of us that when we were a child, we had to hide because we needed to survive, and we needed to put some strategy into place in order to survive. So it was really a matter of life and death as a child, to neglect part of ourselves or hide part of ourselves. And this year I really see it as an opportunity to be true to whatever is there, and without the need to rationalize, to explain, to understand, or to evaluate, is it right or wrong to be like this. So there is a kind of fully acceptance of who I am, taking the responsibility of it, and being daring to manifest it through the words. So this is very much connected to the 5, the throat, and the communication.
Can remain to the 7 for a moment before we go to the 5, because what you just said also reminded me that 2 days ago I went to sleep thinking about all the conflict in my life since I was born. Actually, I had to revisit everything, and I was so sad about it, and also very sad about the conflict I couldn't give a solution to, especially those. And I just fall asleep thinking, feeling a little bit guilty and thinking what could have done different. And then I woke up the morning, and my first thought, just waking up, was I have no enemies. There are no enemies, which is also very connected to the number 7. That's why I wanted to put it here now, because it's forgiving ourselves, but also realizing that others are not against us, which is very, very important in conflicts, and realizing that we are not good or bad, and we are not right or wrong. It's not, sometimes when we go into conflict, we have this tendency to feel guilty about what we did, but also to blame the other for what the person did. And we forget that there is no right and wrong. It's just that you do your life, and then suddenly person pass by and resonate with your action in a way that they like or don't like, or they just have their own reaction to it. So we at all moments do our best with what is there, and they are not against us. They are just digesting the information that they got through the resonance with us. And this is unavoidable. This is unavoidable. So I woke up with this thought, I have no enemy, and then the finding the peace on, and imagining this year, the number 9, as a possibility to enter into peace with the fact that just by living, we can do our best, but we still can disturb someone. And it's not a separation, it's just that it's just life that manifests. It's just like the fruit I was speaking about before. Some fall to the floor and they're already rotten. I didn't have even a chance to be ripe and healthy for a while. It's just like this. So some resonance will be like this, and there is nothing really to correct except continuing trying to see the impact that we have on others, but not with the expectation that everybody will resonate positively with that impact. This is just not possible.
Yeah, and I see that connected to our capacity to digest the situation. That means being myself has an impact, because some people will not necessarily accept my authenticity, who I am, because I'm not answering their expectation, which is usually what we do if we want to avoid the separation. We check the situation and we adjust, we adapt, and we change who we are in order to avoid this pain of separation. But this year, with the 7 connected to the electromagnetic field, and the capacity to digest what it is, like you said, to take the impact of who I am without taking it personally. So it's very connected to the 5. That's why I was talking about 5 and 7, because 5 is the physical body, but also my nervous system. And like you say, the other person is a threat, or life is a threat, because my nervous system is not balanced, because my nervous system is reacting according to memories of the past. So I'm defending myself against the person or against the situation. So this year, this 5 is really a key element in order to enjoy the information that comes from the subtle body, which is an unknown information. It's a new perspective, so it's unknown. It's really plugged into the unconscious. The 7 will allow us not to filter it, not to judge it, but if we want to manifest it in our life, we need the nervous system that is stable enough to be okay with something unexpected, something that is out of the box, something that will not be understood by others, like in a conflict.
Yes.
The person does not understand me, and I'm okay with that. So I'm not adjusting in order to avoid the conflict. So there is, I mean, these numbers are always playing together. Yes. And yeah, that's this trio 5, 7, 9 is, all of them are very important in order to have a smooth year.
Yes. And also this, the 7 connected to what Satmukh is saying about the communication and the nervous system, and to be able to digest what comes to me. The 7 is also an indication, because it's filtering the information that is coming, so it's also an information, but what is what can I expose myself to, and how can I expose myself to? And not realizing that when it's too late. So being taken by the computer, the work, the travel, or the talking, or going outside of ourselves, we very often lose our center when we are distracted by social and work. And this year it's how is my nervous system reacting at every step, and when it is too much that I have to just come back to myself and digest before I can take up some more information. So really the quality, and that's also a particularity of the 9, because the 9 is very sophisticated also, sees all the details, and it has a certain nobility, and that's also the peace. How do I come to this peace? By realizing what am I taking and what am I giving. And for that, I need to stay in my center, not to lose my center. So avoid the distraction. Yeah, and that's the part of the silence of the 9. So always finding time to recuperate, to elaborate, to think, to close the eyes and go inside and ask, am I still home, or have I lost myself in what I was doing? Have I lost myself in action?
Yeah, this year is very important to recognize that, to recognize where is my limit of my capacity to digest, and take moment of emptiness. That means take moment with there is not so much impression to digest. So it can be moment in silence, it can be moment in the dark, it can be moment in nature, because the nature will automatically tune us back to our natural rhythm and rebalance the nervous system. So it's also a year to recognize that in order to be fully involved without losing the center, we need also a moment where we are fully uninvolved. So we need to learn to recognize, okay, this is the moment that I need to extract myself from the situation, wait a moment. So it can be a few minutes in daily life, because you see that, oops, I'm in the reaction, so I go back, I take a moment off. Or it can be during the year, like we are doing now, taking a moment away from the social media and taking care of the physical body, the nervous system, good food, and creating emptiness with moment of silence, with moment of retreat, and talking about the food also with moment where, because food is an impression and of course has an impact on our digestive fire, take moment where we take less of this impression. So take rest also with your digestive system by eating less, or eating liquid, or simplifying your diet. There is really the wish today of our physical body and nervous system to simplify the information we put in our mouth, because it's already a complex reality in which we are living, and we are really putting complex food in our mouth. So we need simplification.
Sometimes I have this kind of void, or I'm doing something and I need a distraction, so I stand up and I say, what do I want to eat? I just scan all the things that I could eat, and then I grab something, even if it's something else. It might be a fruit, it might be something, but it's not always a snack that is unhealthy. But this year is the year to avoid that. It's not the time to stand up and say, what can I eat? Because if you don't feel the fire in your stomach that wants the food, and you say, I am hungry, no matter what, but I will go and eat, I cook something healthy, or I go and eat what there is, then is not the moment to eat. This is the only way we should eat, is when we feel that we need to eat, and not when we think. It's a little bit like the shopping. Before we would, years ago, we would go shopping because we needed something. Today, I was with someone a few days ago, just take the phone, let me see what they have. This is something that we learn to do both with food and with shopping, many of us, just to compensate a certain void, or to get to that distraction where, when we cannot digest what is happening, or when we feel just an emptiness, that we cannot afford to keep. So it's really a strong year to see what we take in, to see what we give, and to reinforce our nervous system, and through action come to peace.
And with this 5, because 2025, so the 5 is really present, and this is connected to change. So we will be invited to find a balance in the movement anyway. So the nervous system, and what you say, the giving, receiving, that's mean I need to find a safety in a constant movement. If we don't do a conscious work, our safety is based on memories. So it's based on the childhood story with Papa, Mama, and how I had to freeze myself, freeze my, I would say, personality in order to fit in and in order to go through whatever was the story. So today, it's, we said before, we can unfreeze by welcoming this part, and also discovering that they are a resource because they were there and there is prana waiting for us, and find the balance in this constant movement. So it's not a year that will be with no waves. And they use this word in yoga, which is called pratyahar. So this is the capacity to, whatever is happening outside and whatever I'm experiencing through my senses, that's mean a lot of change, a lot of variation, a lot that is happening and impacting my senses, sending a lot of impression, I can stay home. That means I'm there, I'm watching the show, but there is a part within me that will never change, and this is very much connected to the subtle body. And the capacity of the aura to not judge, not filter what is there, and the capacity of the nervous system to stay okay with it. Because I'm not seeing this information or impression as a threat. So this trio, can, if they are balanced, can bring such a quality of life, because our inner peace will be beyond circumstances, and our capacity to enjoy life will be beyond circumstances. But if it's not balanced, we will go with the waves up and down. So it's not like last year where we were really confronted and like where we were putting energy and it was not the right thing, the thing collapsed, or like you mentioned, relationships stopped. But this year is, how do I surf on the waves? And there is an opportunity to, the more I will dare to be myself, the more I will be able to surf on the waves. The more I will neglect or deny part of myself, the more I will be victim of the waves, and the more I will drown.
Yes, and thank you for mentioning Papa Mama, because it reminds me, you know, last year it was, since 2020 actually, Mom and Papa were very present. There was a lot of healing about our origin and with our parents. And I'm not talking about us, I'm talking about generally also in our teaching. It was manifested because it was always necessary. In every group, Mom and Papa came back again, and we needed to heal these wounds. And last year, it was the last year for that, actually. 2024, the number 8, the confrontation also to the authority with the father figure. Let's leave them behind, because 2025 is a year of rebirth. It's giving birth to ourselves. You know, they say in the scripture there are 2 places of birth. One is the womb. We come out of the womb, and then we have to give birth to ourselves through our throat, which is the 5th chakra. So again, a 5. And we have to, this is the ultimate individualization. So there is no Mama and Papa this year. We have to go beyond that and just see how we can give birth to ourselves.
We are not our stories.
We are not our stories. Very exciting here. Let's see what it brings. And for that, we will start meditating together 2 hours for 5 times every week, starting the 23rd of January. And the 6th time that we meet, so six weeks we will meet, the 6th time will be a question and answer and a sharing on our experience. So very excited also about that, because this will be the moment where we can hear from you or from those who register for this series of meditations. So we will start at the 23 early morning. It will be 2 hours early morning, and we will deeply meditate on these topics of this year. And connected to the overall umbrella of this meditation is the Guru Gayatri, which we are doing for 5 years. And we started last year meditating on Govinda Mukande, so the 2 first words. First of all, trying to see, let's see what I can eat, make me strong, and what I can digest and eliminate. And this year we moved to the 2 next words, which are Udare and Apare. So it's another way of giving and taking, which is more horizontal. That was in me, what I ingest and what I eliminate. And this one is me with the world, how much I can remain home, like we said before, while giving, how much I can take in and remain home without freaking out. So with a stronger nervous system. So it's time to strengthen our nervous system, and we are very happy. We will do that with Fateh, so it's us 3, and yeah, I really look forward to start again this series of meditation. So I hope you will also join.
And I wanted to mention a last thing about this year, because we talked about that a few days ago, and I think it's important as well, is that this year is a year of no lies. Yes. Which means that all our strategy, all our little lie, to avoid ourselves, will be obviously seen. Usually it's seen by others, yes. They are like, there is something off. So we will increase this capacity to see what is off in others when they are not completely aligned and they are in this manipulative game to avoid themselves, certain part of themselves. But this will be also very strong for us. We cannot lie to ourselves this year, which means, of course, we can continue, but it will be
affecting our nervous system again.
Yeah, and it will not be comfortable, like something is off. So there is a real opportunity to blossom this year and to be ourselves. And that's exciting.
This is exciting.
But of course, there is a cost, which is the change.
Yes. Satnam.